det gå. Yeah, Johan. I'll give you some examples from my collection. It's 10 books. We can't go page by page, but we start and see what's important in each or the book I will show you. Okay, let's start.
Okay. I'll give you a brief look. This is the first album. It starts with Albania and ends up with Belgium. Here we have Albania. This is the first page. This is the last page from Albania. On the top of this page we have the Belgian Congo. From here we have Belgium. I have always tried to collect both mint stamps and used. When you see the double, when you see I have the double of stamps, it's because I have the both new mint and stamped stamps. I still collect music stamps, of course, but in the book I stopped collecting after 1988. If you miss some stamps, it's because they are later than 1988. Here we have an envelope. It's not ordinary for me to use envelopes in these books because I have special books for envelopes and first aid collections, first aid consolations. I'll show you later. These are the various special editions. I have them both perforated and unperforated and numbered. This is the last page from Belgium. Here we look at book number 2. It contains stamp from Benin and ends up with Curacao. This is the Bhutan stamps, and I'll show you. These pairs, unperforated, are very special. If you hear some music in the background, it's music from these stamps, played on, made on an ordinary tape recorder that will follow the collection. All these 6 stamps contains music. Here we have the 3-dimensional stamps. These stamps are from Bohemia and Mähren, the German Rhine states. From the 20s and 30s. Bulgaria. Bulgaria have quite many stamps. these PMC stamps are not philatelic music circle. It's an coincidence. It's people standing in the background making the letters from PMC. It's funny. This is a brief look at China. This is the last page of China, the Republic. Then we turn over to China, Taiwan. 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 This is the same page, I only lifted this opera, where we can see different bands. This is the last page from Taiwan. We have the Congo Brazzaville country. On the middle of the page we find stamps with Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, John Coltrane. They were the first jazz stamps I ever saw. I saw them the first time in a market in Paris, and I thought we were looking at vegetables. They were so pretty colors. Come closer and find it was stamps. Delicious happening. Here we have from Congo the UAMPT series. Sometimes I have it both mint and used, but they all are collected. We are coming back to that later. The People's Republic of Congo. As you see, there are very specially editions. These big sheets are printed to give away for ambassadors or other prominent people. The top of this page is Costa Rica, and then we come to Crete, Cyprus? No, Crete. And then we start, at the bottom of the page, we start with Croatia. The Cuban stamps, not very special, but they have a great many of the stamps. It's a funny country to collect. This is the last page from Cuba. This is book number 3. It starts with Cyprus and ends up with Gambia. This is Czechoslovakia. It's a good country for music collectors. This is the national anthem from the jubileum 100 years of Czechoslovakia. It contained 2 different stamps. This is just a cover of the stamps. Page 2. They are very special. It's not easy to buy them anymore. When I bought them almost 30 years ago, they were very seldom. I used the word seldom, but I meant rare. Czechoslovakia had lots of musicians, composers. We still have Czechoslovakia, and many of the stamps are a good standard artistically. Now we have turned to the Republic of Dahomey. This is not a very special country for musical philately, but I will show you this because there are a great many of special editions later. And this one will come back to later. I'll tell more about it. These are prints, test prints, and ambassador editions. This is Denmark. I go quickly through some of the pages. There are many stamps from the king. From the king. He was a well accepted conductor and musician. Here on this page we have to stop at the bottom. Will you please observe this postman stamps? And here we come down to the same postman stamp. I have it on a special page. This is numbered. This is number... Oh, sorry. This is 2000 and something. I have a lower number. I'll show you later. This is number 590.
You said the complete...
The complete number is 3000. This is 590. It is still Denmark. This is the country of Færøyene, the Faroes, as you say. And this is the last page from Faroes, and as you see down on the page, they have tributed jazz stamps, this tiny little island. Here we see some 3 stamps. They are not really stamps, but they are mentioned in the book for collectors anyhow. The second page from France, and here we have some special stamps from the Mozart series. We'll come back to that later. This stamp is very rare. I tried to find the value from it, but you ought to be a very specialist to find out what type of print this is. But very rare anyhow. At the top of the page we'll see the famous painting of Rolf Dufy, a great painter and a very funny violin he has made here. More France. We'll try to go quickly through. there are no reason to rush through France. It's a very interesting country, but there are so many stamps to look at anyhow. The last page from France. This is Fujairah, Arabic country. It's not very special for collectors, but they have these gold and silver stamps that might be funny. Still Fujairah. It's not great art. But these comic strips are interesting anyhow. Nice pictures from the Disney World. If you love Snow White, you have a complete sheet here. We are at this page from Gabon. This has also almost the first jazz stamps I ever saw. It's Nat King Cole, Sidney Bechet and Louis Armstrong, and a special edition from Nat King Cole. And I also show attention to this series, Unperforated. Still Gabon. And more jazz musicians. Lionel Hampton, Charlie Parker, Earl Garner. Now we shall pass Germany. It's so great many pages of stamps I have to run quickly through. We start here with some of the Rand states. Turks, Caicos, Turms und Taxis. This is just doublets. I usually have doublets in special books, but this time I have put them inside here in the collection. I'm not sure why. Years passes and things might be forgotten. $4 million marks printed on the stamps. Again, I repeat that envelopes are in special books. Here we have the East German. No, sorry, this is German Reich, before the World War. Same here. Is Württemberg und Thüringen. This is West Germany. And this special stamps from Beethoven. This series will also find in Berlin, the collection from Germany, Berlin. This is the Berlin stamps. These are the Berlin stamps. Very rare, these ones. still West Berlin. Now we come over to East Germany, and I pass the pages by. If you want to have many stamps, Germany is a fine country to collect from. Yeah, that's the end of Germany. Here we pass through England. They have also a lot many stamps, nice stamps too. The end of England. This is Greece. I'll try to go quickly through. It's still Greece. That's the end. This is book 5. We start with Hungary, and this book 5 ends up with Italy. We ran quickly through. I'll just stop if I have something to tell you about some of the stamps. Here I have two stamps, both used. They have a difference in the colors. That's why I have double. That's the end of Hungary. Now we start with Iceland. It's great quality of the stamps, and they use the post horn very much. This is book 6. We start with the Ivory Coast and ends up with Morocco. This page is from South Korea. This is a North Korea. Yeah, no, we are back in Africa, and again I have this Ambassador editions. Mali, the Mali state. And on the first page we see Nat King Cole, Errol Garner and Louis Armstrong. Stamp from 1971, among the first I ever saw. And special editions. Sidney Bechet and Duke Ellington. This book, number 7, starts with Martinique and ends up with Oman. Monaco. And Monaco has a great standard on their stamps. It's still Monaco. And this is the last page, Monaco. La République de Niger. And I've been so fortunate to get these special editions here too. We wondered if you say Niger or Niger. Niger, perhaps. That's the end. This is book 8, from Panama to Rwanda. Here we have the Poland. It's 20 pages. We can't look carefully at each of them. This is special stamps and nice consolations. This is for collectors, and any collector of Poland would be glad to have those. And for us that collect music on stamp, we have a nice country in East Europe here. These Mozart stamps are special in this series. I'll let the stamps talk for themselves. On the top of the page we have these Olympic stamps with music motifs. I got it. I passed through here. These are postcards made for exhibitions. Some of them are exhibitions in USA, I guess. I'm reading up down, so it's difficult for me to see. Chicago, yes. Polpex, 1961. Chicago. That's the end of Poland. We'll take a brief look at Portugal. They have great many stamps and nice pictures. Nice quality. The end of Portugal. This is Ras Al Khaimah, the Arabian country, and we'll go quickly through because many of the stamps are more for children than stamp collectors. Romania might be very interesting for collectors of East Europe. These are complete sheets. You see only the top of them. Same here. Still Romania. I guess we are almost through with Romania now. Yeah, we are through. This book starts with Russia and ends up with Switzerland. Russia has great many stamps, and it's a high standard. It's artistically very interesting to look at these stamps. These stamps were made long before it was Mickey Mouse series. I had an old stamp dealer. He came to Norway as a refugee in 1947, and his only fortune was his stamps. And he had led the German tobacco monopoly and had to run to Russia during the war. After the war, he wasn't very popular any places. He came as refugee to Norway. And thanks to me, he has helped me with all these Russian stamps. The name of this stamp dealer was Chaim Gordon. He wasn't meant to be a stamp dealer, he became it. That's the end of Russia. Here is St. Vincent. They have lots of stamps. I just show you these pages. It's funny for young people, but they are breaking down the quality, the standard of collecting stamps. The same with this country, Sharia. Some of the stamps are including nude women's. But we know that in their own country they are forbidden to show nude women. So many of these stamps are for export. I just showed them. For a motive collector, we have the motives. Here we have Mozart and Beethoven. And Walt Disney. Yeah, that's the end. I present Spain. My sister lived there for 25 years and helped me collecting Spain. These Defalia stamps we numbered are told me to be very rare, and I know they are, but what if they're specially prizes? It's difficult to find because the different prints make different prizes. It's quality of the paper, quality of the print technique. Okay, let's look at these two. It's Spanish Guiana. And here we have Sahara, Sahara Español. Spanish Guinea and Guinea Español. Guinea Español and Spanish Sahara. That's the end. Mr. Norstedt, here we have Sweden with all their posthorns. I don't guess you are very surprised. You must have the same yourself. But these collections are very funny, with the postman bringing his horn. And these ones, the only thing why I have collected it is these small post horns. And this fabulous poet and composer and singer, Evert Taube. We have records by record from him. A great artist. And Sweden has also jazz stamps. It's a baritone player called Lasse Gullin, a great name in the world of jazz. And this is the end of Sweden before we go to Switzerland. But I don't go to Switzerland. We have to look at the next book. These books start with Tanzania and ends up with Austria. Because the reason why we have Austria in the end of the alphabet is that we in Europe call Austria Österrike. Here is the Tanzanian test prints. Then we go to Chad. And we end up with this. Now we come to Togo in Africa. I'll show you this because we end up with quite many test prints. and these very special editions. Bach and Beethoven. Continue with Beethoven and use Duke Ellington. Yeah, that's the end.
Mm.
Tonga with their self-adhesive stamps. Scouts playing trumpet. That's the end. This is USA. I guess you will laugh over my collection from USA. But I highly enjoy to have V.C. Handy and Duke Ellington. This last year there come a lot of artists from America, but I collect them in a special book of jazz. And some of these prominent persons are collected because they played instruments or organs. We come over to Upper Volta, and again I have a great many of these test prints. Yeah. This is Austria with a great deal of posthorns and musicians, composers, real famous, both the stamps and of course the musicians. These are rare. This is a double sheet. It's twice as much on one sheet as you can see. Yeah, that's the end of Austria.